gonna be, not your final, it's gonna be your midterm. And so this would have been midterm week, but we're not taking a written test. We're gonna create a paper from the encounter as well as from the faith conference. And it's gonna be a 3-part paper, no more than 2 pages typed. And so you're gonna begin with basically, I'm helping everyone who's formulating a paper, introduction. In your body, you're gonna give me 3 parts. What do you see? Part 2, what will you say? Part 3, what will you do? Any questions? Any questions?
Is it double space?
The regular, you know, here I am with that whole, like this, I'm gonna show you a picture.
That's right. That's right.
You know, whatever space this is,
Oh,
single space, oh, single space, I didn't think double space, I don't know, this.
Some of them want
Look,
double space, so that's why I'm asking.
is this double space?
No, that's single space, but.
Yeah, double
in the
space,
other
you know.
class, they want double.
Double space
I
is
think Mount
like this.
Hampton like everything
like
double
this,
space.
Oh, I know why Mom Hampton likes double space, she's gonna go in and do all that writing and
Right.
correcting and,
Okay.
I don't plan on doing all that, because I know you got all those apps that help you spell check. And I can tell you honestly, I'm not after the grammaticals and how it could be said, because I really wanna hear your heart. I'm really not after, do the research on, we just talked about Moses' leadership style, or what Jethro said, we can all find that in scripture. I'm not asking for that. I wanna know, after everything that you've experienced spiritually, what do you see? What do you see yourself doing? Faith to lead what? Why are you here? Why are you in this class? Why are you in the school? Why am I here? I always ask God, any room I find myself in, is why am I here? What is the assignment? I am just not here by happenstance. Why am I here, ma'am? Why are you in the leadership?
I didn't plan to. Good question.
I know why you're in the leadership class.
Yes, ma'am.
I pretty much know your assignment.
Yes, ma'am.
And I know why this is helping you. I know why this is going to help you. And so I will share with you that this paper, I will give back to you. I don't want a second copy of it, because I want you to put this in your archives. I want you to date this paper. And I want to see you. I want to see the day when you're going to say, remember when I wrote that? I'm actually living it out. And this is actually happening in my life. This paper that you will write is not a paper for a grade. It is prophecy. It is a prophetic paper for what the Lord has told you to do. I won't share with anyone unless I ask you to share with Bishop. But this is what I see. And I'm asking you just to pour in what you see. And then what scriptures, because just to see it, what scriptures are you standing on? That's the same part. I'm standing on these scriptures. I'm believing these scriptures. These are the scriptures that the Lord has given me. Bishop said this, I told him about the assignment. I said, will that bear witness with you since you're teaching on faith? He said they can't lead without faith. He said that it takes faith to lead. He said if they're going to lead anything big, it's going to take big faith to lead. And if we're going to lead anything small, it takes small faith. Because faith has a measure. He's given us the measure of faith. So it's clear you can have a big faith, little faith. He says, oh, you of little faith. So clearly that you can have little faith. And little faith has faith for little things. Bishop says big towns are built with big dreams. We can say that big towns are built with people with big faith. So I'm going to ask you to turn your expectancies up. And I'm going to say to you, if the Lord said the tens of thousands, say it. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. If he says you're called to the hundreds, you're called to the thousands, don't be afraid, because it's what you see. It's what you see. And then he tells you to write the vision. This is just simply vision. And make it plain upon the tables, tablets, that who reads it can run with it. So this is gonna carry you the rest of your life. I see this. Not your devotional. What do you see? What will you say? And what will you do? So by the time you get to the end, which every good good professor finally reads the end of the paper, because it's what you're gonna do about it. So you gave me this long dissertation about what God said, so what are you gonna do? And so periodically you'll see me pull someone aside, I say, well, remember what we discussed. So 1 is prophecy, 2 is vision, and then 3 was you're gonna have working, you're gonna have agreement. Because I'm gonna be in agreement with you. And then two or three shall agree concerning anything. If you get off course, say, hey, I'm off course, Dr. Houpe, it might be 2020, 2021, and you could just sense that you're almost there. I'll stand in agreement with you. I'm really excited about these papers. I pray that you are. I pray that you are. You excited about this?
Yes, ma'am.
You got faith for some things?
Yes, ma'am.
Faith to lead?
Faith to lead.
Faith to lead? Mm-hmm.
Faith to lead.
Faith to lead.
Got you saying
Faith to lead.
it.
Faith to lead.
Faith to lead.
You're in a leadership class.
Yes, ma'am.
Mm-hmm. I can help you with that. What am I gonna lead?
What I saw.
Not just what you saw, but what am I called to lead?
Oh,
You're called to lead wherever Bishop said there's a need.
yes, ma'am.
Is that easy? Is that easy? There's a need in the ministry. You're probably that person to lead that area. Probably never got started. It's been on your heart. You've heard Bishop talk about it. Do your research. So what will you do? That's your research part. This is what I'm gonna do. I read this. A good paper always states statistics. Always gives numbers. Good paper always gives numbers. Do your homework. Not off the top of your head, do your homework. You have this in your presence, and this is the law of the picture of leadership. This was not the best copy. I apologize that you received this like this. It was folded from my Bible, and every part of the word is good. But I will tell you, it comes from 1 Corinthians 4. If you can just highlight right here in the corner, right here under the law of picture leadership, you can just see that right here. In this little bar. Can anyone read that? The law of the picture. The law of the picture leadership is caught more than taught 1 Corinthians 4:9 through 21. Read it out your own amplified version or whatever Bible that you have. But Paul is talking to he's talking to Timothy. And we talked about before you can lead, you need to get a picture. And this comes out of John Maxwell's Bible on leadership. And it actually tells you 10 steps that Paul used. They're all explained. That Bible is just full of tips on leadership. And it explains from Paul, from the New Testament, on the qualities of a great leader. So you don't necessarily have to be able to read, look at me, you don't necessarily have to be able to read this part. Because you can read out your Bible. This part right here, you can get it from your Bible. This is what I really wanted to read of this, the 10 steps. And I think that's pretty legible. I can see all of that. You didn't tuck that away. You need to take a stretch, or we can wrap this up and go home. Okay, good. So let's look at the making of a leader, and then we'll be done for tonight. Because you're gonna go, and that paper, I would like to have that paper next Tuesday. Get your packet out, the making of a leader, and you're gonna get a highlighter. This is a workbook that comes with your textbook. And when we were in HBI, they did not have a workbook. And I was like, hey, They got a workbook. Everybody has their copy? May I look to see if we on the same page? They gave you all 20 chapters. We're only gonna stop at 8. This is the leadership. And ABCs of faith. Well, we're open the ABCs of faith, only because Bishop is not here tonight. And the assignment, the paper, the faith to lead, you got that piece? That goes along with Bishop's midterm, and it goes along with my midterm.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and so,
And so it's not sort of one page for each night, but it's just several pages that you said.
this is Bishop's outline.
You said one page.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
one page from the conference,
For each.
attend the faith conference, write one page paper for each night of the faith conference. Oh,
So that's why I was like, if you just want to just put it all together.
I'm sorry, I didn't see this. He told me that, but, Pastor, you wanna help me with this? Rather than, do we wanna do 3-page papers? So you could just turn in one paper? Do you think you could do this, the same assignment in 3 pages?
So combine all three of the
He's,
nights?
yes, ma'am, he's saying, attend the faith conference
I
Wednesday,
think so.
Thursday, and Friday. Assignment number 4, write a 1-page paper for each night of the faith conference. They are due on or before November 19th. So he's saying all 3 pages. I would just turn this into a 3-page report and just make it all one assignment for both classes. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. That's good, everybody. You don't wanna do 2 separate pages. Is next week November 19th?
Yes, ma'am.
This is due next week.
It's midterm.
Just midterm. Okay, everybody's on the same page, is
Is
that,
that returning the same paper on both of them?
you're turning in the same paper for both of us?
Okay. And include all of this that we talked about tonight in the conference? Or just-
Well, he said, let me go back to this.
Yeah.
It's just one, he didn't give you the details on the paper. It's just like 1 page for each night.
Yeah.
I think it's redundant to take a paper and put the notes that Bishop Hash gave and then the notes that Bishop Houpe gave.
Mhm.
I wouldn't want to read that. I would want that, I'll tell you exactly what he said, we're reading from, I wrote his notes. One question, I said, what's the question that you would like to know from the students? And this is what your bishop said, and I just said, why don't we take that one question and turn that into a paper? Because I'm requiring a paper anyway. Let's make it one question. Okay, this is what the question is. He says, since everything we achieve, I scribbled it, wrote it again. In that everything we achieve in life is by faith, what changes have you made in your faith walk after attending the faith conference? What do you see? What will you say? And what will you do? So that's where I got the 3-point question from, paper format from, to help you write the paper versus, where do I start? If not, you just find yourself just writing a long devotional, what the Lord has said to you. And so, that's the question that he's asking you. So hopefully that helped. Yes, sir.
My suggestion is that we focus on what Bishop has said, the things that he wants. In other words, what he desires, it supersedes anything that's went out before. Are you following me?
So not the question that he's asking?
Yeah, you do the question that he's asking. We focus on that question.
Okay,
That this class will focus on that question and not the, whatever, the 3-page, what is it?
Right.
The information that was passed out.
so answer this
Last
question.
Answer that question.
Answer
Answer
this
that
one question,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
not the 3 pages?
Right.
Okay.
The thing that you stated in the beginning of the class,
Oh, okay.
where it was 2 pages with the questions
Okay,
that,
I'm with you. So back to the 2 pages.
back to the 2 pages. Yeah.
So just
Incorporate that question in the 2 pages.
Yes, yes, incorporate that.
I'll tell you what, I'll tell you what, we're gonna stay with what Pastor said, as long as for Bishop's grade, that you are stating, I'll read it again, in that everything we achieve in life is by faith. What changes have you made in your faith walk after attending the faith conference? And when I read that, and he gave that to me, I said, okay, if I had to write this, where do I get started? And so I'm going back to the Sunday, what do you see, was the question he asked as we came out of the encounter. And then Bishop has it, what is it, what are you saying? And so after you see it, and then you say it, then we know faith without works is dead. What are you going to do? And so I think that answers what changes have you made. That's your doing in your faith walk. That's the doing part after attending the faith conference. And that's the side of me that's, okay, how can I give them somewhat of a structure? 2 pages, 3 pages each day, as long as this part is covered. Yes, ma'am. I'm comfortable with 2 pages. I didn't want you to be laboring, trying to come up with more pages. If you need 3 pages, then that's still fine. Okay. Did I answer that, Pastor?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Okay, is everybody comfortable?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, sir.
So so everybody's on the same page. It's gonna be 2 pages, and they'll focus on those questions
Yes, sir.
for your assignment and for Bishop.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay.
And
And,
it's single space or double space?
and the same space.
Single space.
Yes, ma'am. Right, we're good on the paper.
Yes, ma'am.
You're good on your discussion boards. Did you discuss some of the things from the questions that you had in the first class, the discussion board? You had 8 questions. You had 10 questions. First class, you broke up in groups of 3. Did you have a discussion around those topics?
2 groups.
You went 2 groups? How did I think it was 2 groups? What was meant by no generation can rise above its level of leadership? Did you have a conversation around that?
Yes, ma'am.
That was in chapter 1 of our text.
Everybody was supposed to do a question.
That was your plan,
Yeah.
how you were gonna discuss it. I expect you to know all 10 of these questions. Now, how you came about it, this is what your director says, discussion board 1. Answer the following questions in no more than 3 sentences. Okay? Let me tell you why. Because we're about to go through this list and I'm about to tell you what will be on the final. So each question, there should be at least 3 sentences, no more than 3 sentences to answer the question. Now, you got in groups and I allowed you to get in groups. And your group decided we all just want to answer 1 question each. Wonderful. If your group didn't come back together to get the answers, it's a good thing I didn't pick it up. Because it's for discussion. Okay? However you decided, I'm still looking at these 10 questions.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So, from this sheet, do we all have the sheet?
You have an additional copy of that? It's on the agenda.
Huh? Oh, that was what she was trying out the class.
Yes, ma'am.
I wrote all over. I wrote all over mine.
Does anybody have a,
Well, you need a copy?
you want a copy?
It's pretty decent.
Okay. Is that okay?
I don't have any, I apologize. That will be on my house.
Yes, ma'am.
There's a few things you need to circle from here. That first statement is important. What's meant by no generation can rise above the level of its leadership. They talk about that in the beginning of the book. That's really important statement. So no, we can say no generation, we can say no organization, we can say no family, we can say no marriage, we can say no institution. Nothing can rise above the level of its leadership. So number 1. Number 4, how is the governmental and congregational ministry similar to a marriage? And if you have a highlighter, you can highlight them. From this list, we talked a little bit about this. I think we went into more detail. Number 8, describe the change in the word minister from the early church and the church of today. I think I left you with that statement, how the word minister went from a verb to a noun, to minister versus being a minister. And number 6, how is authorization and ordination of the ministry different? Those are the only 3 from that discussion. Next week, you'll get some more discussion boards to discuss. 4, yes ma'am, 1, 4,
1, 4, 8,
6, and 8. Flip with me through your pages. We're gonna look at chapter 1.
Dr. Houpe, did you say for the final?
Yes, this is final. This is all final.
Oh,
Exam, yes ma'am. I just want to get you out there so you can just start tackling these questions and be done with this. So when we come and start talking about organization and leadership, authorization and laity and clarity and the call to leadership, we'll just kind of know where we are. Excuse me. Number 7, in chapter 1. Number 7. Big conversation. That priest and elder, they did not let go of that previous discussion, so like, come on, let's get off this.
Can I ask you a question?
Mhm.
Would these answers be either priest or elder, or would it be how the sentence structure was in the first?
In your religious background, was the word priest or elder regularly used to describe the church leadership? In Catholic and Episcopal circles, for example, the word priest is commonly used. Read over the 6 explanatory terms under the priest versus elder section and fill in the following blanks. You don't want to page 7. Any textbook you should easily tell you. Blank is New Testament mediator between God and man. Let's see what it says. You want to hear?
It wasn't worded where I could gather into the future. I put how I thought it was, but I still wasn't sure if I was easy.
I don't want to get into that because I really want to, we can just check it off because I'm going to give you all the right answers.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's what I
yeah. We're just gonna go through it and give you all the right answers and now you can study from there.
Okay.
Nobody's ever gonna guess. I don't want you ever guessing because to pass the class is not passing a test, it's walking away with information and knowledge and all you're getting an understanding about church leadership and how the evolution has come to today and how it is impactful today. And here's the biggest part. How do I lead today? What is necessary in the body of Christ? Churches are dwindling. Online churches are growing. People are watching church from home more so than they are coming into the house of God. So as a leader in ministry, what do I do today? And so all of these, there is an answer key that comes with all of these. I will share that with you, but I don't want to just give you the answer. Because to give you the answer, you would not search for the answer. So we're going to search for the answer. We're going to talk about them in discussion board, and then we'll come around and we'll go answer by answer.
Okay.
Because that's not what this is. It's not you're right and the book is wrong, or you're wrong and the book is right. It's for information. Bible college is to get information and impartation so that you can make an impact. Okay? And so I'm just going through some of those that will be on your final, and I will stick to things that, and that's page 7, and they tell you what the answers are. Chapter 2, church leadership, background and conflict. Number 2. Number 4. Number 5. The book is so meaty, we could just be here, it's just not enough time. And then let's just say 7 and 8, and they kind of go together. The names of the governmental ministries and their purpose, and you already know that, to edify the body of Christ. You already know that. Number 6, chapter 3, and chapter 4, the main 2 that we're focusing on is being called to leadership. I'm called now, and I can tell you right now, you're all called to leadership. Don't think, oh, when will I get called? I didn't get a call. That is my call. You're a call when you signed up. You called when you showed up. You are a call, okay? So the call of leadership. Number 1, I like the Jeremiah. I love Jeremiah. Anything from Jeremiah, let's talk about Jeremiah. Number 3, spiritual office. Bishop and I talked about that last night, that whole spiritual office. I just kept going on about that. True or false? I like true and false, but, you know, one little word can just throw you. Let's just have fun with number 5. That's gonna be a have fun question.
Number 5.
Yes, ma'am. And then the 5 terms that deal with the nature of the call, number 6 is enough. Okay? Chapter 4, man's response to the call of God. Let's talk about Moses, number 2. That's all in that chapter. Number 5 is on the back. It's on the back of my page. All right, that's how they copied it. Chapter 5. All chapter 5. Yes, no, I said, no. Number 2 in chapter 4, that's all. Chapter 5, I'm sorry. I like number 3 because number 3 asks us to meditate. Meditate on the list of both positive and negative spiritual heart qualities. It just deals with the heart for leadership. And that's all that we will get to in your final exam. We probably won't get to 6 or 7. I'll have to see you in the next year. And by then, just hold on to your packet. That's your final. What do we do from this point? Next week, we'll get your serving log, your log of your service hours, and we'll talk about those areas that you worked in. How many of you think you've already got 20 hours in both areas? 20 hours serving in one area. Hours of service. 1 or 2? Put up over 2. Okay. How many hours did you serve for the account? She said, how many hours did we get for the account? Did you come anytime prior to 7 o'clock Friday? Did you come and do any kind of setup? Did you go to the groceries and get all the
We came in here back here. We came in here.
Yeah, oh, we came in.
Okay, because I saw you all in the sleeping quarters. You did all that whole setup.
We did all that, then we came in here to clean.
Right, that was for the conference, they, did volunteer hours, when we were supposed to be in class. On Tuesday.
Exactly, that Tuesday night.
Yes, ma'am.
So how many hours did you get? I wasn't here, I'm not Jesus, I'm not omnipresent.
They came in at 6. 6.
So let's just say, I would say this much. I'm not clocking hours like that. If you came out, anytime you showed up, just give yourself credit for 3 hours. And if you worked any part of the encounter, if you worked in that kitchen crew that prepared every meal till Sunday, that alone is at least 15 to 18 hours. Because it was nonstop. It was nonstop. But I can't wait to talk to you about it, because here is the assignment from your service. It wasn't that you served. I wanna know two things, and we'll talk about that. That's that other quick paper you're gonna write, and it's not a paper, it's a list. You're gonna write more or less of what would you like to see more of in the area that you serve, or would you like to see less of? Just more or less, it's two lists. That's the next paper that you'll turn in. The more, that comes with your service hours. I worked in this department, I would like to see more of. I served in this department, I would like to see less of. What will that do for Bishop and I? That will give us an understanding of working with the inside of those departments, somebody stepping in to serve in those departments, what is needed, the needs of that department. Not what's wrong with the department, just what you like to see more of, what you like to see less of. That's not gonna necessarily reflect a name, I don't want any names, just more of this, less of that. That's gonna help us in our planning for 2020. And for the ladies who help with the encounter, and we're gonna have an open encounter next year, that's gonna really help us, and if we believe in God to multiply times 4, we had 125, 130, times 4, that's gonna take us over 500 easily. If everyone really invites 4 people, if 4 people really show up, that's over 500, almost 600 women. So what would we need more of? From the department that you serve in? What would we need less of? That helps us project a plan for our fall 2020 opening camp. And guess who's gonna be the team that's gonna help me become the committee to help me plan it? Why just looking around? Sure, you went inside. You got to see it. So that's where we're going with that. Everything that happens in here, in leadership, is gonna be used for leadership. Everything that happens in this class is gonna better the leadership of this house. Everything that you say, do, work, put your hands to, will make this house better. You are already impacting this ministry just by stepping out and being eyes, ears, and hands for Bishop and I. And to come back and say, we got a good report. I don't want just more or less, but here's the solution. And we'll talk about that. Does any of what was said tonight make sense?
Yes,
Are you better, more comfortable
yes.
about your role and your assignments?
Definitely about this study
Oh, it's too meaty. It's way too meaty. It's too meaty. Yes, ma'am. It really is good for a 9-month class. And even if Bishop had it in a 9, this is Bishop's